Hi everyone, welcome back to my craft room. I am Sandy if you're new. In today's video, I want to focus on how to tone down a white piece of paper. Oftentimes our decorative scrapbook papers are white on the back side of it. And when we put those in a journal, that stark whiteness just gets to be too much. And we want to tone it down. So I'm going to cover, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 different ways that you can tone down a white page. So first off, I pulled out some of my old journals, and the first one, now this page isn't white, but it was still just a lot of purple. So one thing you can do is doing some collage on there. So you can do some inking, some stamping, and some stenciling, and then just adding some collage. So that's one way that you can do it. And here's another example of a collage in this particular journal. Now this one, this part was on the page, but this was really white. So here I did some painting and then did a little bit of collaging, and I made this little pocket here, and then I did some modeling paste of this little bird right here. So that's another example of collaging. And then you can also stencil. So let me show you another example of stenciling. So here on this page, so this was, you know, in a pretty embossed piece of scrapbook paper. It has pumpkins and fall leaves and things on it. I don't know if y'all can see that. But this page was white. So I got some stencils out, and I just stenciled all over that page, and then I decorated the page up. So stenciling is another way that you can tone down the white pages. Here's another example of stenciling. So here I used 2 different colors. So I did just inking with my dauber around the edges and vintage photo, and then I stenciled in the blue this little leaf or heart shaped, and then it made a great little base for these 3 little book page pockets here. Here's another example. This is kind of more of the collaging type, but here this was again a piece of paper, and on this side I just added a side pocket here, and then I painted and then collaged and then added a photo. Alright, so the next one I wanted to show you was in this journal here, and you can stamp on a page. So like for this particular one, so I did some inking, and then since this was a travel journal, I stamped this postcard stamp there. So that's another idea, is getting your stamps out and doing a combination of inking and stamps. So like here I just took a whole bunch of different stamps and inked up around the edges. So another one that you can do is, if you have a printer, you can take your papers, so this is a digital, and I ran it through the back side, the back of it through the printer and put lines on it. So now it's just a nice journaling, and I could still ink this up if I wanted to kind of tone that down. All right, the next idea I was going to show you is that you can either spray or ink. I'm sorry, you can either spray with ink or with coffee or with paint and put that on there, and that also tones down the white side of the page. So spraying it on instead of using a dauber. And then another one you could do is have it in this journal here. I just covered the back of the page with coffee dyed paper. So I just glued on a piece of coffee dyed paper onto the white side of it. And then, of course, the last one is with inking. And I'm going to show you some different techniques that I did with the inking. So here I have blended a couple different colors to tone down that white background. And then again, more of the smushing. And here I was dragging the ink pad. And then this one I was doing kind of like little circles with inking. So I'll show you these, but I wanted to kind of give you an idea of how they look in the journal. And this was using bigger dauber and a smaller dauber to get that effect. And then this was kind of the smooshing technique. And here's using stencils as well as inking the whole page. And here's just doing a full stencil in a really bold color. And again, more of the daubing. And here's more of kind of squishing the square and stencil. So you get the idea. And here's blending multiple colors together to create a background. So let me show you these techniques. They're pretty easy to do. Get this out of the way. So kind of here's the first one. So I'm just taking some vintage photo and bundled sage, and you just take your dauber and just kind of swoosh it around and make little circles all over the page. Oops. Whatever pattern you want to do. And you see the white just really starts to tone down. And you can go as much or as little, oops, as you want to do. And just keep going. And it just makes a nice little pattern for your background and tones the white paper down. And it's as simple as that. Okay, so that's that first method. So next I want to show you this one. It's similar to that first one, but you're doing a little more of dragging the sponge around. So you're getting some of these little lines here, and that just adds a little more interest to the background. Do some twisting, dragging, whatever you want to do. And you can also ink up the edges as well. And so that's just kind of the twisting and smushing that down. And then the next one I wanted to show you was just taking the ink pad and just going along and creating any sort of pattern. And you can go darker and rub it on there, and it just it creates just a really cool effect, I think. So that one's really easy. And then this one, if you have some of the smaller ink pads, you'll get kind of a different effect with the smaller ones, because the square will be smaller. So you can just go like that. You can, you know, twist a little if you want to. And you can do long strips or little ones. And then I add a second color, just fun. Give it a little more of a variety for your eye to look at. I mean, I think they're gorgeous. You all let me know what you all think. And then here's the one with using the small dauber. And this one I am using Faded Jeans. And here you just kind of stamp along. So it's very subtle. I mean, you can do some streaking like this too, just to give it a little more color in the background. And then you can go back with the little circles on top of it, like that. Like that. So that's really cool. And you can do a combo of this with the bigger dauber as well. So you can add, if you want to add a different color, a little bit of different interest there if you want. So you can either do just one color or you can do a couple different colors. And then the next one, this one is taking several different little ones and just creating this cool, I mean, it's almost like a check pattern almost, a little bit, maybe. But you just do kind of some different areas with one color, and then you come back in and do some other colors. And then you come back in. So I'm using spiced marmalade, peacock feathers, mustard seed, and fired brick. And you just keep going back and forth. I mean, isn't that cool? I just think it's really neat. So that's another cool background that you can do. And then this one, you're taking your ink pad and just doing long stripes like this. And it almost looks like wood paneling in a way, which I think is really neat with the vintage photo. And then another technique I wanted to show you was using a baby wipe. So you can take a baby wipe and dip it into your ink pad and then just rub it onto your page real light. Get a little more color. And you could even do like little swirls to get a little swirly look effect going. So lots of different options. And I think that was the last one with the baby wipe. Yep. So anyway, so to review, so you can do collaging on your journal pages. So here's an idea with collaging. You can also do stenciling. So here's a couple ideas with stenciling here and stenciling here. You can also do putting lines on the back of a page. So you can do some lines like this. And then you can spray them with ink or coffee. And then you can also cover the back of the page with another piece of paper, either a decorative piece of paper or coffee dyed or tea dyed paper. And so you just glue another piece of paper onto the back of your decorative paper. And then the last one is inking. And I showed you several different techniques here of ways to do inking on your white pages. So I hope y'all found this video helpful, and we'll try these different ideas to tone down your white pages. All right, I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.